Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sunless Skies. I have done some stuff. I forgot to hit the record button because I'm brilliant like that. I just repaired my ship. I traded in my port reports to the public decency people to see if I could get another permit so I could go back to Magdalen's and try and fix my terror, but in one shot, so no, I didn't do that. So, that means I'm going to go to Floating Parliament, I think. I don't think I can sell. Spitfires Market. Yes, I have loads of guns. Now, I should look at upgrading my own weaponry. But all of the requirements are a bit strange. Well, that requires veils of 25. I don't have veils of 25. So does that mean I can't use it? I do have mirrors at 25 plus though, as far as I know. That's mirrors, right? Yes. So in theory I can upgrade to that. It's 15 damage, 750 range. Five more damage. I kind of want a machine gun. That requires no. Let's do that. Let's buy that. The problem I have is this requires me to be far too accurate. I'm terrible. I'd rather just kind of spray in the general direction. Can we upgrade the shotgun? Oh, is that the only shotgun they've got? The Black Jape will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all. Automatic shotgun. An automatic shotgun? What, as in like a machine gun shotgun? Can I use it? Iron at 50 plus. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Excuse me. Excuse me. I need to. Sweet. Can I sell the ones I have? Jerusalem. Emanations. Cool. I have no supplies or fuel. I need to buy more supplies and fuel. Good thing I didn't spend all my money. It's four. That's a good number. Fills my hold up pretty bad though. And oh, I have a caddy of dried tea. Should I sell that? I'm going to keep the unseasoned hours because I could use them to get back without a permit, so okay. So we're gonna go, damn it, just do that thing again. Over here. We are gonna go up here. Let's go on an adventure, see how horrible let's see what horrible things could possibly happen. I mean, as long as it's not a bleeding time travelling weft, I should be okay. I'm still no idea what that's done to my game. Play? No idea at all. I could suddenly find that it's undone all of my progression. I should have totally bought more crew. Damn it. Oh well. Too late now. Oh wait, automatic shotgun. How's this work? Well, there's the... Okay. Oh! Okay, so it's automatic, but the heat is huge, so that's probably not going to be too great. I wonder if there's a way of improving your heat. Not usage. Decrease usage, but increase the bar somehow. How many shots will I get? That's really accurate there, isn't it? Apologise about the horrendous noise. I mean, hopefully that will mean I won't get my ass kicked by every single pirate from here to, well, Albion. I suppose I mean Albion. The Reach? From here to the Reach. Well, it's the Westminster Bells again. House of Chimes. What's left of it, anyway. That's a wonder, right? That means I can lower you. Is that a wonder? Yes. One does lower your terror, right? So I could use that to lower my terror before I go back. If I need to, which by the looks of things I don't. I have to be incredibly careful though. Don't want to do what I did at the Clockwork Sun and end up slowly destroying myself. Kind of feel like I should kill those to get the nameplates, but also they terrify me because they're incredibly maneuverable. My cousin sits in the Lords. Haven't heard from him in a while. The incautious driver doesn't sound distressed. Definitely could do with sprucing up the place. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Palace of Highminster. Minister, let's do a port report first, because that might be enough to get me a permit to go back. While the palace is off limits to most, there are always ministers and civil servants whose busy schedules allow a moment for a free drink. You ask the obvious question, what is the point of Parliament when Her Renewed Majesty never gives her assent to any of its proposed laws? They bristle, tyrants fall, democracy endures. Oh, I forgot I had a raise. I started that a long time ago. Oh, thanks for the supplies. God damn it. Oh, let's go to the House of Commons, I suppose. The wheels of government continue to turn, but its halls have seen better days. Most are green-tinged from decades submerged in the stolen river, during that unusual historical interlude when London was stolen by bats. That's fallen London, right? Water still drips from unseen reservoirs of damp. Even so, the house remains a hive of favour trading, drinks promising, and constant debate. Take over the Department of Albion's affairs? The loquacious civil servant strides up to greet you. Ah, Minister, right on time. The loquacious civil servant glides through the labyrinthine house with an ease it took a career to acquire. This way, Minister. Do not step over the drunks in the hall. Journalists, you know. Old habits die hard. Ah, here we go. Your new dominion. He pushes open the door. Your new department's carpeted floor squishes underfoot. Almost nobody glances up as you enter. You are, after all, just the next minister in a long chain of distractions to their work. I feel like I could do a lot of damage here. The Department of Albion's Affairs is windowless, airless place at the top of many staircases. Outside of your tiny office, a small regiment of clerks led by a loquacious civil servant bruises itself with reports and paperwork, then carefully files it all away in an elaborate system designed to ensure nobody ever sees any of it again. Windowless, airless place reminds me of where I work. Visit the first secretary. As first among equals, he knows more about Parliament than anyone. A useful font of information. You can learn the will of people at ports around Albion and the Reach. Bring it here to be the foundation of a new bill. You'll be working on this bill for a week and unable to leave until it's passed or rejected. Do I actually know the will of the people? I have one, okay. First, visit the first secretary. Let's find out what's going on. He sits at a huge mahogany desk in prestigious Downing corridor. Your conversation doesn't distract him from writing notes in the margins of endless pieces of paperwork. He pauses his scribbling only to sip from a large cup of stone-cold tea, or to scratch his head with a pen's long silver nib. Ah, cold tea, come on, man. Ask about the state of Parliament. Where's the Prime Minister? Shouldn't they be running things? Very good question, Minister. Unfortunately, our illustrious leader decided it would be better use of his time to take a boat into the flooded cellars, where the wine is, you know. I'm not sure how many bottles are there, simply awaiting a net, but they say that the deeper you go, the finer the vintages. That one might find, vintages that one might find. Whoops, I thought there was a full stop, there wasn't. I suppose I should send a search party when the time permits. Until then, I really must finish this paperwork. Okay, political situation. Ah, you noticed. Yes, these days Parliament is split along rather less productive lines. We have the Committee of Radical Sovereignty, devoted to finding even more inventive ways to cling to the Empress's mighty skirts. The Subcommittee for Public Restoration would be as happy to see her gone, but has yet to come up with any workable plans. Finally, the Select Committee for the Chiltern Hundreds likes things as they are. With all three pulling in their own directions, there is no surprise that little gets done around here. He pauses. You may have wondered why I was so eager to bring some new blood into our little family. To wit yourself, I trust now you have an inkling. Let's go about him. Minister, I am but a humble functionary. It was my proud duty to serve the elected Prime Minister in an administrative capacity, and as and when we are able to conduct an election, I trust it will be my privilege to continue for his successor. Until then, my focus is on restoring this once august establishment to greatness, even if it means dragging Albion kicking and screaming back to the troublesome necessities of democratic process. Okay. What's this? I've somehow ended up in the House of Commons with different menus than what I remember seeing before. Let's explore the Parliament. A faded empire. Parliament's green-stained halls are hardly what they used to be 40 years ago when the bats dragged London deep beneath the earth. Its new cloaked masters stripped the place of its gold and finery. Only the two houses themselves, the Commons and the Lords, have been properly refurnished. Everyone else makes do. The journalistic lobby has been set up a basic printing press in the estranged bar, with the new ministries established in any spare room or corridor. Occasionally, between the drinks and the debates, some work gets done. Okay. Let's have a look at the loquacious civil servant. Good God. That's a lot. This is the short version? Minister, the traditional vocation of both this office and one in your esteemed position is to take upon the duty and indeed burden of establishing and integrating new legislation of a beneficial yet cost-effective nature for the pan-Albion citizenry, with a twin focus on problem elimination and controversy avoidance paradigms. Oh, bloody hell. The greater efficiency we demonstrate at this, on at least a prima facie basis, the greater slice of the budgetary pie will be allocated to our department, the greater the parliamentary status you personally, Minister, shall enjoy. 2. With elective ascendancy comes reward, minor ones, as the ministerial salaries are currently primarily a barter-based economy for beverages of noted alcohol formed due to a most regrettable budget shortfall in the non-functionary related positions that are typically compensated through prestige. Oh, bloody hell. Are these numbers supposed to be here? Because there's a 3 at the end. Oh, got it. 1, make laws. 2, the more laws you pass, the higher your status. 3, we can't afford to pay you. At least... God damn it. However, he adds, less than enthusiastically, I do understand that parliamentary envoys at Her Renewed Majesty's most celebrated throne enjoy some budgetary flexibility to reward complicated law-related projects. Completed law-related projects. In gratitude for her demonstration of their continued purpose and presence at the moderate to highest levels of government. He smiles a thin, tight smile. I believe that covers the basics. I can give you the longer version if you would prefer. No, I'm good. Thank you. You could have just given me these bullet points at the bottom. Basically, make laws, make more laws. They don't give me anything, but if I take them all to the Throne of Hours, I get paid. Sweet. Well, I guess we'll make a new law. Oh dear. The political machine. It is Monday. The week begins with endless meetings. You are spared the most tedious of them. The loquacious civil servant explains that in matters of government policy, ministers tend to be more of an unfortunate necessity than a boon. The loquacious civil servant consults the latest opinion polls. This is indeed a courageous law, he comments, in a tone usually saved for the particularly unfortunate eulogy. Every day you get one action to try and boost your bill's political capital. The higher this is, the better its chances of passing at the end of the week. Okay, so 100%, 100%, 100%. Leaking compromising information to the press. Your friend, the phlegmatic journalist, is usually willing to be a conduit. Invent a good sob story to sway opinion. A real one would be preferable, but time is marching on. Seek a celebrity backer for your bill. Oh, that's totally the way we're going. We're going celebrity. Yeah. Don't know who. There are no celebrities around, but one of the civil servants still has a signed picture of the beloved Kashmiri princess from the days of old London. Some careful scissor work, and a manufactured quote, and some decorative trimming later, your campaign has a figurehead that none can argue with, and who will hopefully never find out. Oh no. This is all too painfully similar to how politics really works. It's Tuesday. Your secretaries busy themselves assembling the necessary paperwork for a week of intense legislation. The loquacious civil servant consults the latest opinion polls. This is indeed a courageous law, he comments in a tone usually saved for a particularly unfortunate elegy. Intimidate the backbenchers. They're the people who just make strange noises whenever somebody important talks. Conduct a survey of the protesters outside. Carefully selecting questions to produce the right answers. Commission a voyage into the flooded cellars. Oh, yeah, wine. That is the way we're going. There are small rowboats near the wine cellar's entrance. Down the stone steps into a freezing water. There is no light down here, but whatever torches you bring. The rowboat clinks against bottles fallen from the many shelves. Greyfields 1882, Moralways 1872. The master known as Mr. Wine liked to use the cold of the stolen river to keep his favourites at the right temperature. You emerge with enough to keep the whole house tipsy. Current polls indicate that only a tenth of Parliament supports your bill. Only a tenth? It's Wednesday. Huge piles of paperwork await you in your office. Fortunately, you have civil servants to handle that for you. The loquacious civil servant hurries in. Minister, I'm afraid to say that so far your political will is only clashing with your colleagues. Won't I trust you have some secondary plans? I mean, I'm going to go with intimidate the backbenchers. A careful series of threats and bribes does your dirty work better than you could have hoped. The yapping hordes eat up your words and agree to support you. Alone, they may not be enough to push your agenda through, but it certainly won't hurt. Is this how politics works? Because it seems like this isn't democracy. Fifth? Yeah. It's Thursday. Slowly but surely the new law is taking shape. The loquacious civil servant dispatches a secretary to check the mood of the House. He returns looking less than convinced. At least we have your back, Minister. I mean, I have got a lot of Tales of Terror. But do I need to, considering I can pass these with 100? Yeah, let's try it. Few of the MPs have seen any more of the high wilderness than could be glimpsed through the extra thick stained glass of their luxury trains. Just hearing about some of the squirming horrors awaiting in the dark has them reaching for their handkerchiefs. If they weren't listening to you before, they certainly are now. I mean, a third is not bad. And then we're going to go with a stirring speech, I guess. But it's Friday. The last draft for the new law is complete. Civil servants doze on their desks. Eyes red raw from too much late working by candlelight. I believe we are starting to see some success, reads the loquacious civil servant. Latest note. Whatever you are doing, I highly advocate its continuation and or escalation To be deleted as appropriate with the greatest possible respect. So, during speech. You appeal to their patriotism. You stir their souls. You paint them a picture of a better world. Where necessary, you even talk about the actual bill. Oh dear, that's a 48%. It is a voting day. The first draft of the new law is complete. Civil servants doze on their desks. Oh, I've already read that. Of course, you not hear it from the question says good news. Minister, I have it on good authority that the House is seriously considering backing your new law. Of course, you did not hear it from me. In anything other than the strictest, most actual sense of the word. Also, I read the first bit, but didn't read the second bit. Every day you get one action. Dun dun dun. 48%. Roll the dice. Damn it. Despite your efforts, you are unable to convince the House to rubber stamp your bill. As everyone files out in search of drinks, you see one of the First Secretary's clerks waiting for you in the corridor. She shakes her head, conveying her superior's disappointment. A cabinet reshuffle. You are transferred to the Albion Statistics Correction Authority. It's not the date that it was. Oh, that's just time has moved. Oops, I punched my microphone. Can I ask about the will of the people here? A simple Madam Minister, who is the loquacious civil servant. Those around Albion territory, which is to say Albion herself and the more civilized corners of the Reach, will often present themselves upon your arrival with their problems and little requests. Listen, return here, and your humble servants will put the wheels of government into motion. Okay, so I haven't got any. Well, that's Parliament for you right there. That was fun. Well, I guess I'm going to end the episode here. It's a pretty short one, but short of just going back to London. It's not very exciting. So, like, subscribe, let me know what you think. And, as always, I'll see you next time.